Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Bernadette from Burn Stitches. Happy start of the week, everybody. We are back with a brand new episode. We are in my living room for this video. I have the day off and it's cold. It's 68 degrees right now, which I know to some other people that is not cold at all. But here in the Bay, to me, that's pretty cold. We have finally broken out of the heat wave that has been happening the last few week. It's been good to finally see cold weather. It was really hot. It was about like high 90s. And so that's really hot over here. I live near the water, so usually I don't get as drastic of a weather as it is inland. So 90s here is pretty hot. Even SF actually reached pretty warm, which is usually back then it used to only happen like 2 weeks out of the summer. But yeah, it's great though that it's finally back to cold. This weekend was Fleet Week here, so it was fun seeing the jets like flying all over the sky. I didn't go to SF because usually it brings in a lot of people to watch the show, but I have a pretty good view up in the sky. Whenever they fly in, you can totally hear them. They're really loud. And then the week leading up to the weekend, I had a good view at my office because we overlook the San Francisco Bay, so it was cool. We got to see some of the jets like practicing, although they did have to cancel the actual show on Saturday because of the fog. So that's unfortunate, but you know, it's still pretty cool. I have been watching a lot of Dateline and Flosstube. So before I get started, I wanted to give you guys a list of Flosstubes that I watched the last few weeks. So I actually just finished watching the latest video from Floss Boss and Cousins, Callie and Christy. They are hilarious. I loved it. I especially loved all of the Blackbird finishes that they showed in this video. Callie had this video of Hollow's Eve, which looked really great. I actually just purchased that pattern a month or two ago, so I'm excited. I could potentially start that next year. And then Christy is always a hoot, so I love watching them too. I also was watching Gem's latest video. Her Flosstube is Stitching Gem, and she is actually having a birthday sale. It's Teresa Kogut's With Thy Hands. I actually have the book. Unfortunately, I won't be here to start for her birthday, but maybe I can try to do an early start just so I can stitch that with her for her birthday. Of course, I watch Jordan, the tattooed stitcher. She's my stitchy bestie, so of course I watched her latest video. I also watched Jessica, Sweetwater Stitcher. I'm super excited to meet her at Stitch West next week. I also caught up with Laura from Lala D Stitches. I watched Carol, Saltbox Stitcher, Brenda and the Serial Starter, Brenda and Laura. There's actually a new to me Flosstuber, Bright and Dusty. I watched her videos. She tagged me on one of them and I love her content, so I am now a new subscriber. And then lastly, Christy finally released a new video from Cross Hatch Quilts, so I ended up watching that as well. That was super fun. And I also really love the quilts that she showed. I wish I know how to quilt because that would be amazing. So yeah, those are all the floss tubes that I have watched so far. I have a very long list. If you guys have any recommendations on who to watch, please let me know. I have loved how big of a community we have become, because there's always a new floss tuber that comes out that starts their own, and it's really fun to watch the first video, because usually that's when they do their whip parades and you get to see, you know, if they stitch the same kinds of things as you, or if there's any new designers that you're able to discover through these videos. So in today's video, I have some super exciting finishes, and I have also FFO'd a finish that I did last year. So let's start with the FFO. My FFO for this video is Halloween Fairy by Mirabilia. I love this so much. It's just so good. I am so excited. This is what it looks like. So I finished this last year. This is, again, Mirabilia by Nora Corbett. So this Mirabilia pattern, this is the fairy series that comes in as a kit from, not Witchilt, Hoffman. So this one is not the one that comes in these kinds of packaging. It's basically like a really small chart, and for the one that I purchased this as a full kit. So it actually came with the fabric and floss and beads. And for these series, it actually uses fancy floss. So usually Mirabilia's and Nora Corbett's, they're mostly DMC with a few sprinkled like Krynex or Karen water lilies, but mostly DMC. But for these fairies, these are kitted up in fancy flosses. So for this one, it was all classic color work. So that one was super fun. I stitched this one directly, like everything from the kit, including the fabric. The fabric is raw natural linen from Zweigart. I just love this so much. I finished this last year. I can't get some of the wrinkles out, but that's all right, because this is just for me. And I ended up framing it last weekend. The frame is actually from Amazon. I love finding these cool vintagey looking frames and just doing it myself. So also big props to my husband, who helped me center this as much as I could. So I pinned this myself, and then I keep looking to make sure that it's as center as it should be. So I thought it turned out really good. So if you may have remembered, a handful of videos ago, I also framed my other fairy, the Thanksgiving fairy. That one I did on an oval frame. That was also from Amazon. I really wanted to use another frame for those, but for some reason, like, the wings for this fairy is just huge, so I couldn't fit it in a regular 8x10 oval. But then I realized that the only reason why it doesn't fit was because of the width of the wings. So I was like, okay, maybe I can find a more of a rectangular frame. And so I ended up finding this on Amazon, and I absolutely love how antique-y, vintagey looking it is, even though it's obviously not. This is also pretty affordable. I believe I paid $27 for this frame, and I did it myself, so the cost of labor is just my time. And materials were all from Amazon. I, again, have been using Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch tutorial on when she did her DIY framing. That was basically what I watched to frame this piece and the rest of the other projects that I've had. So it's really, really good if you are looking to figure out how to frame it yourself. But yeah, here it is again. I am so happy. So I've taken down Thanksgiving Fairy for now and have put this in place, and this will be there in my stitching spot until end of October, and then I'll swap it back out for Thanksgiving Fairy. I also finished Christmas Fairy, so I'm going to find a frame for that one as well, so I can swap it when December comes. So I really, really enjoy having these fairies. I know I haven't really stitched Mirabilias in a while, but they are very beautiful to look at when they're framed. They're so good. All right, so that is my FFO. Now I have two finishes to show. So the first one I am still TBD on what I'd like to do with it. So let me just show you. It's a very small finish. It's also a start. I basically finished this in a few hours. So this is my next finish. So this cute little witch actually came from this pattern from Cuore e Batticuore. This is the Shabby Autumn Calendar. I got this as a gift last year from Amber, Rogue Mama Stitcher. And so I am thinking of participating in this year's Smalls Exchange for Stitch West. I'm a little intimidated because I've never participated, and giving someone a piece of something that I finished is a little bit intimidating for me because I'm not super confident in my finishing skills, like in terms of like pillows and ornaments. I do make them, it's just that because they're for my own pleasure and enjoyment, like I'm okay if the back is like really messy, but because I'm gonna give this to someone else, it's kind of giving me a little bit of anxiety. So we shall see if this will make it to the Smalls Exchange, but for now I thought that it would be really fun to stitch, like to pick one of these as like something to stitch for the Smalls Exchange. So I ended up picking the 10th one, which is the witch, and so I just ended up stitching this. The colors are from Victoria Motto flosses that I have from Stash. I also didn't do the little like branches from the pumpkins because of the way that it's charted. I like Cuore Batticuore's charts, but their back stitching is not the greatest because I don't think that they are I don't think that they're charted the way that stitchers are. Like the way that it's charted is basically like how you would draw it. Like you can't, like at least for me, I don't know how you're supposed to back stitch that, because like they draw it like a loop, and I'm like, okay, it's not gonna look like a loop when you stitch it because they're, you know, they're mostly like lines. I hope I'm making sense. But yeah, so I didn't do it. I'm trying to see if I can just show you a small piece so you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't sound like a loony. Okay, I'm gonna show like an example. So in here, you see like how are you supposed to backstitch that? They're like straight up loops, you know? So I didn't bother because it was just gonna piss me off, and then I'm gonna have to frog it and it's gonna have a lot of holes, and then I'm really not gonna participate. So I did what I could. It's really cute though. This is on 28 count toasted coconut from Bee Stitch Me. This is a Lugana. This is the same fabric that I used for my border collie Plum Street finish called Sheep's Keep. So I love it. I did 2/2 on this one because it's 28 count. And so if I do 1/2, it's very, very sparse, especially the black. But I love it. It's so cute. So I am thinking maybe I'll try to make it into an ornament. That's my thought. And then I'll add in like little bits of like little cute things inside. So we shall see, we shall see. Stitch West is next week. I'm so excited. So yeah, I will keep you updated if I end up giving that as a smalls exchange. Now, my next finish, I finished this Saturday. I also believe that this is a start and finish. It took me a few days. I haven't cut out the fabric, but this is my finish and new start. It's so cute. This is Boo to You by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle. I love this so much. It's so adorable. I stitched this on 36 count Witch's Brew by R&R Reproductions, and it's so good. I am so happy that I finished this. It doesn't take that long. I believe it took me about 3.5 stitching days. So I would say that that is really doable. I need to cut it. I'm going to make it into a pillow. I decided to use 36 because one, I couldn't figure out the perfect fabric to stitch it in. I actually started this 3 times, but the body, like the shirt, this color is called Light Khaki by Weeks Dye Works, and I keep starting it on different fabrics and it's just not showing up. And so I was getting really frustrated. I restarted it twice and the thing just doesn't show up. I did a middle start specifically because I wanted to see if Light Khaki will work. So I didn't really get far. I think I only got to like maybe like no more than 5 stitches per fabric, and I was just getting frustrated. So finally I was like, you know what, I do have Witch's Brew in stash. I was just hoarding it because it's such a beautiful color. So I was just like, fine, I'll just, you know, use it. It's the called for fabric for this pattern. So yeah, it's so cute. I love it. So for this piece, I stitched most of it using the called for fabric. So the differences, so some of the changes that I made, so these vines right here, the called for color, I think is, what is the called for color? I didn't have it. Okay, it's called Bean Sprout. Now that I remember it. It's called Bean Sprout. Oh, I have the thing. Yeah, so it's called Bean Sprout and I didn't have it. So is it called Bean Sprout? No, oh, it's called Wilderness. Sorry, it's called Wilderness. Bean Sprout was for a different project. But I didn't have that color, so I ended up subbing it for a green from Color and Cotton called Goblin. And then the cheeks is supposed to be Colonial Copper. It's supposed to be the same shade as, I believe this is also Colonial Copper, this orangey one. But in the model picture, it's supposed to like be, the cheeks is supposed to be darker because it's supposed to be a blush, but then like it was blending in with the pumpkin head. And so I ended up picking up that color Just Rust from Classic Colorworks, and yeah, it ended up working out. I like it. It's like a really bright blush, but I think it's so adorable. I made a little boo-boo in the necklace. So this is supposed to be a candy corn, but I ended up missing a row. So I think it's okay. It turned out well. I don't think you would have noticed. Oh, and then there's like vertical satin stitches in the necklace, which was pretty cool. I'm trying to think what other modification that I did. I didn't have Magnolia Blossom or Old Marigold, so I used, like, you can't tell because it also says in the pattern that it was so like such small stitching, you don't really like just use what you have in stash. But I ended up using mica from Color and Cotton for the hands, although it's kind of weird because it's a pumpkin, but then the hands are flesh color, so it's kind of funky, I think. Kind of weird, but it's fine. So yeah, and then I can't remember what the other one. Oh, I used bamboo for the other one, and I think it turned out really well, so I'm super excited. Here it is again. I really love these smalls. I've been starting a lot of BAPs lately, or like fairly large projects at least, and so it's so nice to be able to like just whip something up really fast and finish it because it just looks so good. Here it is again. And then I'm gonna cut this because I have a good chunk left for this project. So yeah, if you are interested, the pattern is called Boo to You by With Thy Needle and Thread. All right, so that is it for my finishes. Now let's go over my whips and new starts. So let's see. The next one that I did, and excuse all the threads hanging because I don't care, but this is my whip that I worked on the last few weeks. This is Babushka's Blossom by Plum Street, and this is what the pattern looks like. It's so adorable. If you would like to see a finished piece, go check out Lisa from Black Coffee and Grits. She is my inspiration for why I picked up this pattern. I saw her finish and I was just so in love with it. So go check it out. She finished it also in such a cute way. Same with Cinnamon Stars. That is now on my list of charts to also start next month. But yeah, so this is Babushka's Blossoms. It's so cute. I finally finished Babushka and her broomstick. So I am just working on filling in this gigantic pumpkin. That's going to take me forever, but it is so good. This is that fabric is gorgeous. So this fabric is 36 count oatmeal from Fiber on a Whim. I love this color. I've been loving this kind of color lately, so I'm gonna see if I can pick up some more cuts of this color because it's so good. I love the color palette for this project. So this is what it looks like. It's so good. It's so fall. I just love it so much. So good. Okay. And then for this one, this is mainly the called for colors. I subbed out a few. Okay, so this is the one that has bean sprout, and I changed it for this one. This is actually similar to the Color and Cotton one. This is called Goblin Candy Drops from Victoria Motto. I also subbed out Rose Petal for Begonia and Brown Sugar by Classic Colorworks. I think the one that I picked out for that one is, it's called Cider from Color and Cotton. It's so good. These colors are magnificent, so I'm super excited. This is also stitching up really fast. It doesn't take that long, and I think I'm about halfway. I'm gonna be halfway done already. So here it is again. It's so good. There's going to be a house over here that I'm gonna start, and then like the large trees with the yellow flowers. So I'm excited. So that's Babushka's Blossom. And then I have a few new starts aside from the two that I also finished. I am just in the mood to start everything. So I picked up this pattern called Ghost and Goblin from the Scarlett house. It's so adorable. I'm really into this whole Spooktober stitching, and this is my new start and progress. He's so adorable. Doesn't he look like he's posing for a school picture? He's so cute. I love it. So this one, I am stitching this on 32 count. It has no name. This is from Nicholas Flamel Design. This is the grayish black fabric from his Boo collection that I found in my stash that I purchased a while back and never used. So really excited. I am stitching this 1/2, and I love the coverage. It's kind of giving it a preemie look with the black. So I love this one. I made some modifications. So the black is actually, the called for is 310, DMC 310. I wanted to be fancy, so I am using leftover floss from my stash. It's called Coal from Weeks Dye Works, and I thought it looked so good. And then I don't have grasshopper, so I don't have grasshopper, and so I am stitching, or I'm using this color. It's pretty fun, but it's called Pistachio, and I love the variegation on that one. So it's been super fun. This is the color palette for this piece. It's not a lot, and DMC 5200. So this one is stitching up so fast. This is 2.5 days of stitching, so it stitches up really fast. For these, I realized that if I just go down and up and down, it stitches up way faster than going row by row. So that is my trick of getting this one so fast. But he is so adorable. I'm hoping to actually get this done by end of the month so that I can frame him, because he's just so cute. So excited. I need to give him a name. He's adorable. What should I name him? So cute. All right, so that is my new start from last week. And then I had a new start yesterday, and this one has been months in the making. I have been like planning this with some friends for a while now. This is with my super cute pumpkin bag that I purchased from Jordan, the tattooed stitcher. But I finally started Ghoultide Welcome from Plum Street. It is so good. So I'm stitching this with a few friends. I'm stitching this with Sarah, Memphis Sarah E, Jordan, the tattooed stitcher, Jessica, Sweetwater Stitcher, and then we have a few people also come in and join us. So I'm super excited. So if you have been wanting to start this, feel free to join us. This isn't like an official sale or anything like that. It's just friends looking to start this piece, and this is my start. Okay, first of all, I know in my last video I was trying to figure out the best fabric to use, and I ended up not choosing any of those because I ended up finding a cut of the called for fabric, and oh my gosh, I'm in love with the called for fabric. This is Lakeside Linens called Vintage Sand Dune. It is so good, and so I stitched this with the called for. It never happens because I can never find the colors, but it's so good. And I'm gonna take this out, but it is so satisfying. So this is one day of stitching, okay? I started this yesterday. We all started this yesterday for October 13. And I made it through the border. So it's actually not that big. I mean, I guess it is, but it's wide. It is quite, I mean, this is on 36 count. But I thought it would honestly be bigger. And don't get me wrong, it is still big, but it's not as big as I thought it is in my head. But it's so good. Look at the border. That is just gorgeous. And then these are pumpkins in the making. But oh my God, look how beautiful. I'm so excited, you guys. I'm not gonna lie, I got so tired last night making this border. It was a lot of counting, but I'm so happy that the borders touched. So because I was like really nervous, the border is like really wide, and so I was nervous that there's a chance that it's not going to touch, you know, because of a miscount, and borders it's kind of really hard to fudge. So what I ended up doing, so you see how like this has like a lot of stems and flowers and stuff. So what I ended up doing is I just stitched all of the ones that connected, and then I am just gonna add the rest as I go. And that ended up working out really well because I ended up finishing the border. So now this is giving me like this really good energy to pick up some of my other samplers where I haven't connected the border and connect them. That way I know that I haven't done any errors on the borders at least. So we shall see. I might do that next month. But yeah, I love this so much. So for Ghoultide Welcome, I am using the Vicky Clayton Silk Pack conversion. It is so beautiful. Look at these colors. There's also something about stitching in silk. They're just so good. So they're so good. Again, I am just freaking obsessed with these. They are so good. I can't wait. I can't wait. This is just gorgeous. So I love this so much. All right, I'm gonna continue stitching on this. I'm gonna try today because really I ended up actually sleeping. I actually ended up sleeping like really late last night, or I guess you can even call it this morning, because I ended up stitching until 1 a.m. I just could not put it down. I was also like watching Dateline and I wanted to know who the killer was, so I couldn't go to sleep. So I just went to town, went ham on that border, but now I'm a little bit tired. So we'll see if I stitch on this today, but for sure going to continue stitching and finishing up hopefully like this little pumpkin over here. It's so good. I am obsessed. I am so happy I finally started this. Oh, it's so good. You guys, you need a cut of this fabric. It's just so good. So good. All right, so that is actually all for my whips and new starts. It's so good. I can't help it. All right, Before I go into haul, because I have quite a bit and it's a very exciting haul for me. I showed some Halloween spooky patterns last week, and I mentioned that I have some fancy lady charts that are spooky, and a few of you have reached out and said that you wanted to also see those. So I picked these up from my stash collection to show you. So before I show my haul, I'm just gonna go through them. So these are fancy ladies. So this is Greta Goldbroom. Yeah, Greta Goldbroom by Bella Filipina. She's so adorable. It's so good. So pretty. There's actually a really cute one that they released this year. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a little girl in like a pumpkin patch, I think. That one's also good. And then these are my Noras and Mirabilias, mostly Noras. So I actually collected a lot. I don't think I have everything, but I have collected the Bewitching Pixies collection. So this is Gigi. Minerva. This is one of my favorites. This is Luna. I actually have Luna. I have the bead pack for Luna, so she is ready to start whenever I want to. Electra. I absolutely love her dress. I also really love this one. This is Emmy. So cute. Marie. And lastly, Eva. It's so good. And then this is not really, I don't think this technically is supposed to be spooky, but I think it is. But this is Raven Queen from Mirabilia. I mean, she's just Halloweeny. Not Halloweeny, but like, you know, she's dark. So I added her in case you actually want to stitch her. I absolutely love the design in the back. Like with the crows and the castle, this would look really good in like some gloomy fabric. So yeah, that is my fancy ladies chart. I have not been into stitching fancy ladies as much this year as I have in the past. I'm just still exploring samplers, and I'm in my sampler era, but you know, someday I will come back to these. I do have quite a bit of a collection, so this isn't a forever goodbye. It's just more of a, I'll get back to you in a bit. But yeah, in case you're interested, these are some fancy ladies. All right, let's get into haul. So really fun, first of all. So I picked up a few Blackbird patterns because I love Blackbird. And Abby, the Top Knot Stitcher, had a 20% off sale of her charts in her store to celebrate either her marriage or her engagement to Mr. Topknot. So I celebrated with her by purchasing some projects. So it's so good. So I picked up, I just picked up some Blackbirds that I really want to stitch. So there's quite a bit, but I basically just picked up the patterns that I'm going to want to start soon, just so I have it. So first of all, I picked up Winter Wonderland. This is a reprint. I love this. You know, I'm a sucker for houses, so can never say no to that. So I picked that up. I picked up this pattern, or this book actually, called Peppermint and Holly, and it includes 10 winter samplers by Blackbird. and they're just so good. I just like a lot of the patterns that they have, and some of these were really hard to find before, so I'm glad they put it in a booklet for everyone to enjoy. I wanted to show you guys some of these. So these are this one called Greetings. I really love this one. It's so good. So I might stitch that soon. I also really like this one, again with the house, because I love houses. But these are the different patterns in that book. I love it. So yeah, a really good book for the Christmas season. This is not Christmas, but this is Souvenirs of Summer. So the reason why I wanted to get this is because there's just some really good patriotic charts in here, and I'm just really nervous that this book will go out of print again, and then I'm just gonna be so sad. But this is one of the things that I really want to stitch. And you know, I ended up seeing this at the Floss Boss and Cousins video this morning because Callie finished hers and it looked so good. So I'm so excited to stitch this. This is called Summer Jubilee, and I'm gonna try to find this exact fabric. It looked so good. So please check out their video. It's just so good. I love this so much. I also wanted to stitch another pattern in here. Let me see if I can find it and show it to you. There's just so many good ones. Let's see. There's also this one, Summer Souvenir. I'm so excited, and I'm happy I've got this, and on sale for 20% off. And then lastly, I bought this chart, Bringing Good Cheer. Another Christmas sampler. So this is a little too far because it's, you know, still October, but for December, I'm going to do a Blackbird Christmas season stitching. I want a low-key style because I just don't have the energy to create like an actual hashtag, things like that. But if you'd like to join me, I'm going to be stitching a bunch of Blackbird Christmas designs. So I'm going to be probably gonna start this. I will be starting Christmas Garden for sure. I'm also gonna pick up 'Tis the Season. I'm gonna pick up the silk packets from Vicky Clayton so I can get started on that one as well. I have the other book that that has that pattern. I'm so excited. It actually is the same book that has Christmas Garden, so I'm super excited. But yeah, if you would like to join me, I will be starting a bunch of Blackbirds for Christmas. So Blackbird Christmas season. I don't know if that's a thing already, but that's what I'm gonna do if you want to join me. So yeah, these are my purchases from Abby. I'm also planning on picking up a bunch more when I go to Stitch West next week. All right, so finally, my final haul, which I love so much, is a pile of fabric. So I had this like really big itch to go to my L&S, needle in a haystack, because I haven't been in a while, and I was like, I really want to go and check out if they have any good fabrics. So I did. It didn't take a lot of convincing. And I did. I'm so happy that I listened to my gut, because I think I lucked out, because they had so much Lakeside that I think they just restocked when I came in. So I was so happy. That lady, I definitely put her to work because she was cutting and serging fabrics for a good hour for me. So I was so happy. In addition to the fabrics, I also picked up Jack's Bash from Plum Street. I thought it was just appropriate. I don't think I'm gonna start it this year, but potentially next year. So I just wanted to pick up the pattern. I'm gonna be going to the Hobby House retreat next year with Paulette from Plum Street and Bat Twist from Heartstring Samplery. So I basically wanted to finish a few of my Plum Street so I can bring it next year. So that will be fun. Anyway, so I wanted to show you all of the good fabrics that I ended up getting. Sorry about that. That is street cleaning. But yeah, I am so excited. So first up, this isn't Lakeside, but I picked up a fat half of straw by Weeks Dye Works. It's so good. So good. So I picked up a fat half of straw because I got what did I get? I got Autumn at Hawkrun Hollow kitted up last April from Shepherd's Bush. So I'm gonna start Autumn at Hawkrun Hollow next month. I got it fully kitted up using the Shepherd's Bush conversion. So it's like over dye floss that they handpicked and created themselves. And I ended up picking up a fabric called Ligonier's Latte for it. But I think the fabric that they used for the model in their store is straw by Weeks Dye Works, and I have been going back and forth, but I think I'm gonna switch it to straw. So I ended up picking up a fat half of that so I can start it, and then I'm gonna be repurposing Ligonier's Latte that I picked up for Autumn at Hawkrun. I actually ended up looking, so I started Ghoultide Welcome. It's a series, so there's also Liberty Welcome and Yuletide Welcome. So Liberty Welcome, the patriotic one, the called for fabric is Ligonier's Latte. So I'm gonna be using the fabric that I bought for Autumn for that one, so then I can just switch this out and I'm not wasting any fabric. So yeah, such a beautiful color, straw by Weeks Dye Works. So this is a fat half, because you need a fat half for Autumn at Hawkrun, but you need the longer side. So I just picked up a full fat half, and then I can use the rest for something else. And then I hit the jackpot and got a bunch of Lakeside. So first of all, I picked this one up. It is so pretty. This is 36 count vintage bisque. It's so good. I love this so much. I know I say that about everything, but I really do. They're just so good. I picked up, this is 40 count. This is maple sugar. Oh, so beautiful. It's so good. I got a fat quarter of that one. I picked up 36 count. This is again a fat quarter. This is a fat quarter of vintage pear. It is so beautiful. I picked this up because this is the called for 'Tis the Season. So I want to use this for my Blackbird. It's so good. Although I think 'Tis the Season actually calls for pear, and this is vintage pear, which is a little bit more distressed, but I think my LNS also had regular pear and they look the same. So I just went with the vintage because I love the vintagey look more. So yeah, it's so good. What else? Oh, in case you're wondering, this is what Ligonier's Latte looks like. It's so beautiful. Okay. And then for this one, I am regretting only getting fat quarter of this, but this is vintage buttercream. It's so pretty. I kind of want to go back to my LNS and get another one, but I'm trying so hard to hold off. It's so good. And then you already saw it, but my Ghoultide Welcome, this is vintage sand dune, so I picked that up during my trip to my LNS. I picked up a fat half of this one, so I already cut this. My other half is sitting in my box already, so it's so beautiful. I love this so much. So I picked that up. And then one more thing. So I also went to my LNS because Real Comfort by Plum Street is finally being released to the general public. It was a exclusive pattern last year for a retreat. I believe it was for the attic retreat. And so I have a lot of the flosses already, but some of it calls for doubles or triples. So I just went to my LNS and picked up the ones that I'm missing. And this is the colors for Real Comfort. I haven't gotten the DMC yet. It's still in my stash, but I am going to be starting Real Comfort at Stitch West. And I will be stitching this with my vintage bisque fabric from Lakeside. It's gonna look so good. I'm so excited because this has no creams in it, so it's gonna look so good with the cream. I'm so excited, you guys. And again, it's another gigantic house, so I'm so excited. All right, so I guess that kind of is a good segue to go over my plans. So next week, Thursday next week, I fly out to Salt Lake City to go to Stitch West. The guest designer is Kathy Haberman from Hands On Design. So that will be exciting. So yeah, I will be at Salt Lake next week for Stitch West, and I get to see my friends. I'm so excited. So for my start, I will be bringing my flosses and my fabric, like basically everything to start Real Comfort. I don't have the pattern yet. I pre-ordered it from Lindy Stitches. They said it's supposed to ship mid-October. So I'm hoping that it ships this week so that it's here before I go to Stitch West. Because that would be very sad if I don't get it before that, because I was gonna do that as my new start. In addition, I'm probably gonna be bringing this as well. This is basically have become my bag of smalls. These are like small projects from with dye, needle, and thread. So I basically have a bunch of these patterns that I'm thinking of starting this year. And if I don't start it this year, it's just gonna be in this bag that I'll like basically go through every year. But these are the 4 that I haven't started yet. I also forgot to show you that I picked up this pattern called the Cat in the Moon. Another inspiration from Lisa, Black Coffee and Grit. So I picked this up. I'm pretty sure I can do this in like a day. So I'll probably stitch this. Maybe I'll stitch this at Stitch West so I can finally ring the bell. But yeah, that's Cat in the Moon. And then I also have these other choices. You've seen this so many times. The Lolly Crows and Candy Corn. Be thankful that I actually need to start soon because I need to finish this so I can frame it for Thanksgiving, and then this one as well. I love fall most of all. So I will be bringing these to Stitch West, and I have a bunch of fabric in here that I can use to start. And then I'm gonna go shopping when I go to Stitch West, obviously. So definitely for sure I'm gonna be hitting up Shepherd's Bush. I'm so excited. I hope they have a copy of Joy and Good Cheer by Brenda. That's basically my top pattern that I need to get. I know I can get it online, but there's just something about shopping at an LNS that I really like. And unfortunately, my LNS didn't have Joy and Good Cheer. So I'm gonna pick up a copy of that. I'm gonna be looking through their fabric stash and buying more fabrics. And then I'm gonna be looking through the Blackbird series. I'm gonna pick up the Loose Feather series. I saw someone from Facebook did it all in one fabric and it looks so good. There's 9 in that series, and the lady actually said that the stitching piece fits is basically 17 by 17 on a 36 count. So that's really good. You just need a slightly bigger piece of a fat quarter on 36, or it's probably gonna fit really well on a 40, but we'll see. I really like 36 for Blackbird, so I might just pick up some fabric for that one. Or I also already have a fabric called Colonial Parchment by Fabrics by Stephanie that I've been wanting to use because I've never stitched her fabric before. So I might do that instead. We'll see, but that's going to be a new year start. I'm also going to be picking up a year at Hawkrun Hollow because I want to start that next year, and I need to find a fabric for that as well. And I need to figure out if I want to do a conversion because I am doing a conversion for autumn, and I converted Village of Hawkrun, so I might do that because it will be so fun. Alrighty, well, I think that is it for this video. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your week. And yeah, happy stitching, everybody. If you are going to Stitch West, please say hi if you see me. I get really overwhelmed when I go to retreats, so sometimes I have very, very limited side vision and I don't see everybody. But yeah, please feel free to say hi. I'd love to say hi and talk to all of you guys. That would be fun. And yeah, see you all later. I will be back after Stitch West, so my next video will include a Stitch West recap. So anyway, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Happy stitching, everybody. Bye now.